garage here. I'm out at D2D Motorsports today with Jim and Andrew List. And we're going to talk a little bit about, one, how they got started in this crazy business of motorsports, and two, look around their shop. And this is going to be amazing. I mean, this shop is, you could eat off the floor. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what they've got to talk about in their new adventure here, where they've been and where they're going. So without further ado, let's ask Jim and Andrew again how they get started in motorsports.
Actually, yeah, I'm Jim, and I got started in motorsports racing a Merlin Mark 25, believe it or not, way back in the early 80s. And that was the time of development of Formula Fords where it was actually a technology race. So year after year, people were getting new cars with new technology. Dave Brunn, I think, was developing his DB1 car that was faster than everything, but that was the start for me. And then I quit racing for a while to have a family, and ultimately ended up getting back into racing in 2002 in a Radical CSR.
Cool.
My son has some other interesting stories about how he started in racing.
I started in racing when we went to Fleet Farm, believe it or not, one morning, and we passed a go-kart place up in Maple Grove called Pro Kart, and I asked my dad if we could stop in there after we were done going to Fleet Farm, and he said, all right. So on the way back, we stopped in there, and I did my first few laps on there that day, and ever since then, I guess I kind of caught the bug from there and went into go-karts, and then from there to professional racing, and yeah, here we are today.
We have, I really have to thank our entire family. We had a racer one time who we competed against, and he said that I was the luckiest person in the world because I had a family that loved racing as much as I did, and that is a very true statement, because without a team and without a strong support from your family, it's really impossible to do a good job. And fortunately, we've been able to do that in several occasions. We've captured regional and divisional championships in C Sports racing. Andrew's captured championships in Formula Continental, and then we moved on to we jumped in the deep side of the pool, as it were, and moved on to professional racing. And Andrew won a number of awards. The most significant was the season-ending Hard Charger Award in the USF 2000 series. It's the beginning series, the opening series for the Mazda Road to Indy. So he was able to walk away with that award, and we moved on to the Mazda Mx5 Cup after that.
So it sounds like, Andrew, you had a lot of support from dad and family, which is nice to have.
Yeah.
Kind of got you started in that business. Jim, sounds like you've been very supportive of Andrew's endeavors, along with your own. So it's been around, you guys have been in the racing world for quite a while.
We have, and the next step that we're actually looking forward to make is the development of a Arrive and Drive business, where we're able to share with our friends and competitor colleagues the ability to pack up their car and haul it to a track, so we can provide service for the car, provide shelter under our canopy, and that is the next adventure we're looking to make with D2D Motorsports.
Well, that's cool. So yeah, great introduction, you guys. So thank you for that. Kind of gives us an idea of where we're going to go today and what we're going to be looking at. Nice looking rig here on the side. We've got some cars we're going to look at. So let's take a break, jump in and see what they're doing and what they plan to do in the future. Andrew, let's take a look here and see what you've got. This looks like a interesting vehicle. Give me the specs on it. Tell me what you know about it.
Yeah, so this is our USF 2000 car. It was run in the professional series, the Road to Indy, back in, I think, 2015. And what happened is they went over to a monocoque chassis, so we ended up keeping the car, moving on to a different professional series called the Global Mx5 Cup Series. And we ended up keeping this car for the potential of having it be used for renting it out for the team, and having the ability for a customer to come and rent the car out for a race weekend or a test session and just kind of get their feet wet. So this car came with a Mazda MZR motor. Has about 180 horsepower to it. Sequential 6-speed gearbox, which is really easy. I mean, the best thing about this car is that it gives the ability to the driver to really, get everything out of the car possible. I mean, as soon as you get off, I mean, the only time you really use the clutch is to get it moving, and then after that you're using the brake and just matching blips. So it's a fairly easy car to jump in and feel pretty confident in, especially with all the added aero that the Road to Indy had stock to it. So it's got a nice diffuser, big drop down rear wing, and then drop down wing in the front with all the little winglets on there. So it's a very aero friendly car, and you can run this thing pretty much at any track and be very competitive with it. I know that in SCCA racing they made a professional F2000 series that they run right now. I think they have an East Coast and a West Coast that this chassis is homologated for right now. But I mean, if somebody would want to change this into a formula car, if they ended up buying it and turning it into a formula car, it'd be pretty easy. All you would need to do is basically just get a Z-Tech motor for it. We have the original 4-speed transmission just back in the shop over there, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal to change out the motor and get a transmission in there if they wanted to run it in the Formula Continental class. But as it sits right now, it's pretty much just a standard professional level car. I mean, it's got 4-way adjustable shocks, and it's basically just, it's a rocket ship. This thing goes like nobody's business. We've had a lot of fun racing it.
So Andrew, what kind of background would I need to say, come to you and say, yep, I want to do a ride and drive with this? Do I need a racing background? I'm assuming I should probably have like an SCCA license or something like that in order to go ahead and rent this. Yep.
I think that'd be a fair assumption. I mean, having a racing background, I mean, definitely getting an SCCA competition license would be a good start. A lot of people that were in the USF 2000 series was a lot of young kids like myself when I first got in there, and a lot of them had little experience actually in open wheel cars. A few of them had Formula Ford experience, but this car is pretty well balanced in the sense that you're not going to get a lot of things that, you're not going to get a lot of snapping or weird understeer, oversteer kind of actions when you're going into the corner. It's a very stable chassis that they built off of for this car, and it's actually very pleasant to drive.
What about tires? Is there a spec tire in the class that you ran in, Andrew, or is there
Yep.
Okay.
So we have the spec tires on right now for what was the USF 2000 series. So they're Cooper tires that were ran there. So that's why we have such crazy camber on here, because the Cooper tire guys were always telling us the more camber you can get out of it, the better. So right now we have about 4 degrees in the rear and about 4.5 in the front, just because the sidewalls are so frickin' hard on these things that they love the camber. It really digs into the corner too. So.
Okay, let's take a look inside the cockpit of this so you can kind of give somebody an idea of people that have never been into a single-seater before, what that actually consists of. And I know you're in there pretty tight. I'm assuming that you would fit the person either by seat or pedal movement or something like that?
Yeah, so right here we have an adjustable steering rack right here, so this steering rack can go up or down depending on the client. And we also have a bead seat right now, and we don't have it was a 2-section bead seat, and we don't have the other section in there just because we were doing some maintenance on the car. But basically what we would do if somebody came over and wanted to either purchase or race the car for a weekend was we would probably get them in here, pour a bead seat for them just so they have, you can't race without a bead seat, especially in a formula car, just because, you need the comfort and you need the support on the driver just so you're not getting thrown around in there when you're going around the turns. But the cockpit's pretty explanatory. You got your shifter right here. You got your data system and your screen right here with all your readouts. And we have multiple pages for the AIM system. So you have you'll have a pit page, you'll have a race page, and then you'll have a qualifying page. And what else do we got? We have.
So Andrew, getting back to that again.
Yeah.
So data collection, that's something that you would do then for your client.
Yep.
And you would provide that and then review that with them, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So you're kind of not only their maintenance and paddock pit person during the race, but you're also supplying them with information so they can get that information back?
Yes. So, I mean, you can only tell so much, especially about somebody's driving from, in-car video and everything like that. Getting down to data, getting down to the hard facts about what you're doing into the corners, if you're braking a little late, if you're trail braking, if you're turning in a little earlier, that really comes out in the data. And it's kind of hard to hide it because we'll be able to point it out saying, yep, this is where the mistake's being made and this is how you compensate it. So data is something that we use constantly in our racing and in our team to help get as much performance out of the car as we possibly can.
Okay, cool.
But
all right. And then the front suspension is pretty much like the rear. It looks
Yep.
like it's
yeah, and we when we were professionally racing this, we made shock adjustments so many times that we added these pit pins in here so we could easily get the shocks in and out to make the on-fly decisions. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, basic formula car. Your feet sit right down here. You got your gas, brake, clutch pedal right there. You have an adjustable sway bar up in front, which is very nice to have, especially in longer races such as national races or professional races where they last 45 minutes to an hour, which, no matter how well you set up the car for the track, there's always going to be minor adjustments that you would like to make throughout the race, which the front sway bar helps a lot with, making people feel comfortable going out there and, having the ability to change the car with the track changing. So it's nice to have.
okay. What about now we don't have the pods on the side, so you've got, of course, all the body work and everything would be fit
Yep.
on to the vehicle. I'm assuming that I see some extra ones off to my right over here. I've got a boo-boo on the track. I'm assuming that not only is it going to cost me money, the boo-boo, but then also you would have other parts and different things available.
Yeah.
For your person that's renting this vehicle.
Yes. So as of right now, we have a spare front nose that's all assembled, and we also have a spare rear wing. And I mean, normally when you go off the track, those are the two biggest things that might break, either having rear contact or having, going off the track and damaging the front wing. We would have those spares there available for the client if they want us to put it on. And we also have spare parts also for the under tray and for the rear aero, the diffuser. So yeah, we do come with spare parts just to make sure that our clients have the ability to have the full race experience through the entire week.
Looks like you've got quite a rig here to get your vehicles to the track. So let's take a look at it and tell me about it.
Correct, Lon. This is a Renegade. It's a total of 40 feet in length. The actual enclosed section is 36 feet. It's a double level trailer, so we have the capability to haul cars on the upper level and the lower level. And we can comfortably, the way it's configured today, we can comfortably carry 4 additional cars in the trailer. We also have a support trailer that we would carry along to provide the kiwi tiles for the flooring. We've got a canopy that extends out approximately 24 feet, and this area that you'd see right now would be just covered with kiwi tiles. And the benefit of that for the racer is if it should happen to rain and the weather gets inclement, you don't get wet. The water runs under the kiwi tiles, and everything under the canopy stays dry, and we're able to continue to work on the cars, get the driver set up in the car, and do any setup changes that we might need to do, all in the comfort of the warmth of a living room, so to speak. It's actually comfortable. But if we go ahead. Well, if we want to walk back, we have 3 axles in the trailer. We have extra spare tires, of course, that we carry with us should we need to change them. We have a large door, hydraulic door that we're able to lower down, and we lift the cars up either to the first or second level and secure them to the floor. We have big D-rings in the floor that secure the cars and keep them safe during travel.
So we're kind of like almost like NASCAR type thing.
Yes, sir, we are, and we pull the trailer with a Renegade. It's a Volvo engined vehicle. As you can see, it's got 2 drive axles. We don't use the drive in the second axle all the time, but we have plenty of room for hospitality. The crew actually sleeps in the very back part of the hauler. We have 4 bunks that the crew members can sleep in. And in total, with the slide out, we can actually comfortably sleep 8 people in the motorhome very comfortably.
So again, you're providing really a full service here, where you're providing not only, of course, the race vehicle, transportation to the race, hospitality when you get to the race, food, beverages. I mean, it's a pretty much all I need to do is bring my checkbook and come.
That's correct. Bring your checkbook and your driver's suit, and if you'd like, we can actually bring your driver's suit for you if you'd care to have us do that. The real attractiveness of this type of package is that the driver can bring family members. There's a place to sit, a place to be out of the sun, be away from the noise a little bit. If a family member needs to maybe conduct some business, there's a quiet place inside the hauler that they can go to make telephone calls, to use a computer. So it's in a way, it's set up to provide as comfortable a race weekend as we possibly can deliver. And we're hoping that our business continues to grow. And our goal, of course, is to fill that trailer up and bring many racers to races throughout the Midwest.
Jim, can we take a minute and go inside the trailer? Just
Certainly.
kind of take a little look and see what's
Certainly.
In there. Beautiful rig, by the way. I mean, it's just top notch.
Thank you. And we learned a valuable lesson one year. There's actually a device to hold the spare tire in the back, but the problem we found out when we had a spare flat tire one day, you have to lower the rear door to access the tire. So now we keep them up front. So we've got a tire for the hauler and a tire for the trailer.
Live and learn.
Yes. You can see up through the panel here. This is the second level. It's pretty much empty except for a few flooring cart and a few other things up there. A big fan right now. The bottom level contains cabinetry for spares and different parts for the race car. And believe it or not, my darling wife is probably one of the smartest people on the race team, because she found that it was essential to bring a freezer. So we filled the freezer up with all the frozen food because we couldn't keep that much food frozen for a week's period of time without a freezer here. So
Perfect.
she's a remarkable lady. And then again, as we go back here, you can see we have room to comfortably keep at least one car here. We have a track support vehicle that we have, a little Honda mini truck that we were able to tie down here, and then we bring along the other support equipment that is required for the canopy, the sides for the canopy, and all that sort of thing. The hospitality tables for lunch and breakfast, and it's all here. It's all self-contained.
Jim, it looks like we've got some apparatus here. Now, I'm not even sure what it is. It looks like a couple chunks of aluminum for sure, and some pads, so I'm sure it's important.
Ron, thank you very much. This is one of the most important components we have. It's a system that allows us to both scale the car to get accurate corner weights, and it provides extraordinarily level services both fore and aft that allow us to very accurately measure ride height. And as your experienced racer knows, the ride height is essential in developing handling characteristics in your car so you can optimize the performance of that car on track. We have the ability to adjust these scales to accept cars of different wheel widths. We can adjust the length of these bridges for cars with different track distances. So it's a completely configurable system that gives us the ability to weigh weigh and set up just about any car that's available today.
So in your shop here then, say I've got let's just say I've got a Honda Civic.
Right.
I want to come out and get a weigh so I know, again, what all four corners of my car weighs to get that. As we all know, that's important as far as weight distribution, front to rear, left to right, that type of thing, and also adjust my ride height. I could bring my Honda Civic out, drive it up on this apparatus, and you could take care of that for me.
That's correct. One of the most important things too is these bridges, we can actually substitute the ramp, which is much narrow or is shorter than the actual bridges. So we can, anything bigger than a go-kart, we can pretty much weigh. So it's really very flexible and gives us the capability to deliver the performance that people expect. People come in, they expect to get accurate weights that they know are going to be stable over time and give them the performance they need at the track. We have the capability here we don't have to keep the driver in the vehicle the entire time. We can ballast up the vehicle to the appropriate weight so we know what the car would weigh as it comes off the track at the end of a race. So
Cool.
We can get it as accurately as, measured as accurately as we possibly can.
So you could do the same thing then as far as weights in there for weight of the driver. You could also then do that for fuel usage.
Correct.
As we all know, as fuel usage, as you consume more fuel, car gets lighter, so you could actually compensate for that also during that
That's
time.
correct. And the important thing too about fuel usage is what you'll see change, and that's why Andrew mentioned the importance of that front anti-sway bar. As usually the fuel is toward the rear of the car, and so what you'll see happen as the fuel begins to burn off, the rear of the car will become slightly lighter. So the driver will have to compensate for the handling change as a result of that little lighter rear end with the adjustable anti-sway bars.
Cool. So you're actually doing some almost bench racing right here,
Correct.
without even moving the vehicle, but still getting, at least you've got a starting point, so you
Correct.
know where you're starting, and then any adjustments you make, you can log and test, and that's what the whole testing thing is about.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, Jim, this is a great scale. It certainly serves a purpose, I'm sure, for a lot of the racers, but one of the things I noticed, and you guys do such a great job of branding your product, you've even got your scale branded here as the D2D Motorsports. We've also got it up on the wall here, of course, in your banner. We've also got it over to the side here on your flag, which is cool. You've got to tell me, I'm curious, what is D2D? Where did it come from?
Actually, I have to credit my wife for coming up with that acronym. It actually stands for Dare to Dream. And long ago when I started racing the C Sports Racer, she gave me a little key fob. And on the back of the key fob that I put on my driver's suit zipper said, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. And as a result of her support and just the wonderful companionship that she provides, this is a result of dreaming it and achieving it. So D2D stands for Dare to Dream. What is all this stuff on the wall? What point is this?
Everybody's got stuff on their wall in their garage.
Exactly. When Andrew started racing, the Indy Racing League, or I should say IndyCar, hired a gentleman by the name of Dean Case. And Dean told each and every race team to focus in on something that was a passion of theirs. So you can see that our very first one talked about awareness and alertness to be practice safe driving and make sure you can reach your dream. The second one, because Andrew is slightly dyslexic and had a hard time reading when he was a young man, he wanted to take that, the fact that he had that slight disability and reach out to people and give them the capacity to know that if they work hard enough, they can actually achieve their dreams as well through just hard work and extra effort. A pause for the cause. All of the animals that we have are adopted. We've either rescued them or adopted them. And because we felt strongly about this, we wanted to make this part of 1 year's mission to try and get people to understand that animals are great, or adoption is a great way to bring an animal to your home. And the last one, this is from our very last season. There's a young man named Nick who lives in Wisconsin, and he was born with very premature and was born with cerebral palsy. So he's confined to that wheelchair, but he and his mom make Nick's dog treats, and they are handmade, and so they're very fresh. And his goal is to, and his mom's goal is to create a kitchen to employ other people with disabilities to make Nick's dog treats a success. And by golly, the great people from IndyCar and all the tracks that we attended were sent Nick many orders for many hundreds and thousands of boxes of Nick's treats. So he was able to accelerate his dream through that. Giveaway things that we provided when we were doing each. And this is, of course, the penultimate hero card that every driver needs one of those when they go out and go to the autograph sessions. Excuse me.
For sure.
So if you'd like to take those with you.
I definitely will take those when I leave
Great.
today. Thank you. Here we've got, as in most garages that I've been into, we certainly have different vehicles that looks like, Andrew, you've probably competed in most of these, it looks like.
Oh, actually, that was my dad.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even more exciting. Jim, tell me about what's going on here. Man, you've got some great stuff here. So
This was, most of these pictures, believe it or not, that was a time when film still existed and it wasn't electronic. This was the 2003 runoffs, and I was fortunate enough to get a 6th place racing against some really fast racers at Mid-Ohio. And that's my limited claim to fame, is that place there. But you can see Andrew's had a number of regional and awards.
well, I see Jim on this one, though.
Yeah, well, me too.
So it looks like everybody's everybody's got something on the wall here to talk about. So
Right.
that's cool. very nice.
This little project here, we've got a little bit of work to do, some more sanding, of course, and some painting. But this is a a Honda ACT. It's a Honda mini truck. It has a 660 cubic inch, 3-cylinder engine, and it, believe it or not, can fit 3 sets of tires and a nice toolbox in the back, and with enough room for 3 people to sit on the back and ride to the track. So this is going to be our tugger at the track when we haul cars to the track or haul equipment to the track.
So, and Jim, we're just in your trailer, so I'm assuming, like we talked about before, this actually fits in the back. So
It does.
So you've got the whole package, the tugger, the race car, the trailer, everything.
We do. It actually fits between those tan cabinets. It barely gets in there, and we have to kind of push it a little bit to fit it in because the doors were open, but it fits nicely.
Very nice, very nice. And I'm sure we're going to have the D2D Motorsports on the door.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
we will.
Perfect.
Yes, sir, we will.
All right.
And again, you can see we've got more spares than we know what to do with, and probably more than we should have. But we've got the spare noses that Andrew talked about, spare wings, tires, all sorts of uprights and internal things, and it's a lot to keep up with.
So let's walk down this way a little bit, guys. And now this definitely looks, me being a karter, this definitely looks like you've got some kind of fun vehicles underneath here.
We actually do. This is a Rotax tag cart. And this little guy is capable of almost 90 miles an hour. It is a fun little car to drive. And this is how Andrew got his start in racing. Initially racing the L-head Briggs engine, and then moving on to a Yamaha, and then ultimately a Rotax kart.
So Andrew, not a shifter?
No, not
Okay.
a shifter. No, yeah, just a 125 cc Rotex. So they're fun carts to drive, and yeah, they'll definitely scare you. They go pretty darn fast. The power band is really wide, and you know the RPMs are just crazy. I think we're knocking around like 17,000 to 18,000 RPMs with these things, so they wind up pretty good.
Yeah. So what's the plan? It looks like you've got 3 of them here. Is that right?
Well, there's 3 here and 3 in the building next door.
Okay. So you've got a race team here almost. So
we have a race team.
what's any plans for them? Or is it just something that you're just kind of putting on hold now, or is it something you would plan on like renting out, or what's the?
Well, I think I have 2 grandchildren. One who is 3, and the other is 8. And we're in the process right now of getting their seats into carts. And we have enough space, fortunately, for them to drive it around on the driveway and the asphalt here. So they're going to learn how to drive carts the old-fashioned way.
Okay, cool. Very nice. All right. Looks like we've got some other things in line here too.
We'll take
If you don't mind, just kind of. You don't need to take the whole thing, but just.
This is an old Radical, believe it or not. It's a little dusty, I apologize. But we're in the process of upgrading the engine from a flat slide carburetor, the old Kean carburetors, to a fuel injected motor. So the engine's brand new, and we're just in the process of doing it.
So would this be something that you could race in like the vintage class?
Yes, sir. You
Okay,
could.
so that would be, is that your,
Like a vintage P1 car.
okay.
Correct.
So that's, and this is, Andrew, did you race this?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
actually what I started on.
Okay.
It's quite a hard car to learn on, just because it's chain driven. So I mean, when you're trying to get off, get out of the pits, it's quite hard to get the RPMs up high enough. But yeah, this is what I learned on back when I was 16. It's what I did my driver's school in for SCCA, and won my first championship in this car. And yeah, it's a fun little car to drive. I love the Radicals.
So what year was that? Not, we need to date your age, Andrew, but I'm just curious as to see how far this particular vehicle has come?
2009 maybe.
Okay. So what's the motor in this one again?
It's a Hayabusa. It's a 1500
Okay.
cc.
So it is an
Hayabusa.
actual, is that the current motor that they also run in the Radical? Okay.
Correct.
So they're still using a Hayabusa motor in the Radical, but,
What, no chain, they have a real differential now.
Yeah.
okay, all right.
The chain was the hardest thing because if you rubbed it too much, you'd break the chain, and if you didn't rub it enough, you wouldn't get it rolling.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen, I've seen some of the current Radicals that are out there, but I don't think I've seen an older one, so
This
interesting car.
Yeah, this was one of the first big manufactured Radicals that came over from Europe. I think Dad was one of the first people in the United States to actually pick this up. I remember going down to get it with him down in North Carolina or something.
Savannah.
Yeah. Oh no, Georgia. Yeah, Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, we went all the way down there to pick it up when I was like 6 years old. So, yeah, this car has been around for a while, but it's a fun car to drive. It really is. It bites you. It's not as forgiving, but if you get it right, it makes you feel really good.
All right, very nice.
Yeah.
Nice history on that, guys. I enjoy learning about
Thank you.
some of the old vehicles and different things. Looks like we've got something else here
Yeah,
in your
this
stable.
is just an old Formula Continental.
It's the RF 97, and it's the thinnest Formula Continental made. You can Andrew can barely get in there. I can get in, and my shoulders touch the sides right here. So, believe it or not, there is a market for these cars. People take out the extension here and turn them into Formula Fords. Take away the rear wing, shorten it up, and apparently these cars are pretty successful as Formula Fords.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Andrew, another one. This is another one of your X cars that you
Yeah.
competed in.
Yep, Dad picked this up, I think when I was about 17 or 18 years old, and we raced this for, I think, 3 years. And then pretty much we went over into pro Formula racing, and this kind of sat to be a project car, and we're basically, tuning it up, getting it ready for either rental or purchase at this moment, or, having Dad jump back in there and getting some laps into.
There we go. Motor-wise, what was in the what
It
do
was
we
a
have for
Pinto.
motor?
Yeah, it's 2-liter Pinto.
2-liter Pinto. It was, I think it was only like 155 horsepower Pinto and a 4-speed gearbox.
Yeah, it's from Elite. It's from the Elite Motors in Wisconsin. I can't remember the name of the town. They sell insurance there, but anyway, Steve Knapp is the owner of the Elite engines, and he did this one.
All right, we've had a really nice visit here with Jim and Andrew, and we're still here. So we're going to talk about a few other things here. I'm kind of curious as to we're kind of coming into the winter months here, and you can see their shop is heated, it's air conditioned. These guys are going to be working hard all winter long. Jim and Andrew, what's your plan for spring? So we're getting into the racing season in 2022. Well, it's kind of hard to say that, 2022 already. So what do you guys got planned for 2022 here?
Well, we have right now, Lon, we have 2 race-ready cars. We have a FE2 and we have a USF 2000 car. By springtime, we'll have the Formula Continental gone over from stem to stern, and it'll be ready to meet the track again in the springtime.
Okay, so you're going to have 3 vehicles ready. What's your plan for? Let's take a 5-year plan here. What's your goal? What would you like to see happen?
We would like to, again, finalize the arrive and drive business. We have a kind of an a la carte layered program for people who perhaps just want their car transported to the track. They still want to do all the work. They want to do all the setup, that sort of thing. And then we have a higher tier, a platinum tier, if you want to call it that, where we would basically store their car, provide all the setup, the tuning, transportation, hospitality, basically everything you could possibly want. And for that, it's a different tier, and it can be priced on a race-to-race basis. It can be priced on a full season's basis. So our goal is to develop good relationships with our clients, make them want to continue to use us and tell their friends about us. So it's just like any other business. We hope to be successful through good service.
And then we also have cars to rent also.
Correct.
Okay, so kind of sounds like a multi-tier. Are you guys doing anything as far as just maintenance or something? Say I've got a vehicle that's similar to yours. I want to do some testing. Are you offering that service also?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, definitely maintenance, wear and tear stuff, because after, every race weekend or, every 2 race weekends, usually with all of our cars, we go through transmission fluid, oil, check, make sure all the batteries are working fine, going through, looking at brake pads, getting tires remounted, doing data draws off of the car, analyzing a bunch of stuff, making, little adjustments on setup and everything like that. So mainly, kind of prep work and also kind of getting down to some finite things also.
So the 30-minute lube type service type thing like that.
Yeah, we can also do that.
Exactly.
Okay. Just got out of the D2D Motorsports garage with Jim and Andrew List. Boy, that place was just unbelievable. What a great setup those guys have. And they're doing a ride and drive next year. So if anybody's in the market to get into a Formula type car and get some great coaching from Andrew, perfect setup for a ride and drive situation. Jim and Andrew have this thing dialed in. They've got a motorhome. They'll tow it to the track for you. They'll set it up for you. Everything you need to know. If you're into Formula racing, check these guys out because they really know what they're doing. So, a big thanks to Jeff Eddington also. He is the guy that kind of put me on to Jim and Andrew. I knew Jim and Andrew from my previous days at BIR, so we're kind of old friends, I guess I should say. But yeah, what a great setup those guys have. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, hit the button, do all the things you need to do to see other videos coming your way. So, check you out later.